Welcome back to another exciting episode of Full Circle. I'm your host, as always, Harmon Jr. You can find me at Harmon Jr. on all your favorite social media.
And I'm Fradette. You can find me at all your favorite social media at ToonVelo. So, we have a doubly exciting episode for you today. Let's start with our topics first, though. We'll be talking about the new PS5 and the new XBOX1S all digital.
We will be talking about the new Smash update, Smash 3.0.
And we'll be talking the sad tragedy of the Notre Dame fire and how it relates to video games.
It will. But before we jump into that, it's not just the two of us this week. We told you it would happen. It finally happened. We have a special guest, a very special guest. As a matter of fact, our first guest, and I'm going to let him introduce himself. Go on ahead, sir.
Hey, it's me, Marcus Stewart.
Woo!
I'm on the show.
Welcome.
Yes. I've been on Marcus' podcast, his different shows, like 3-4 times, and I've been a horrible person. He's never been on the show, but to make up for that, he's our first guest. So where can they find you at, Marcus, your social media and all that good stuff before we go on?
You can find me on the one social media, that is Twitter, at MarcusStewart7. That's the number 7. And I guess you can also find me on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, at Marcus Makes Media. Where you can find my other podcasts, such as Marcus Talks About Games, my weekly video game podcast, discussion, commentary, comedy show. It's kind of everything rolled into one.
All right, cool. And for those watching on YouTube, like you should do if you're just listening, you can see all that on screen with this lovely mug of Marcus. But let's go into this. So, Notre Dame burned down. It didn't burn down to the ground, but...
Yeah.
No,
Thank God.
Right?
Thank God.
It was mostly, from what I understand, the roofing, the forest of trees, because it was all incredibly old wood. And they were already doing renovations, and an accident happened.
Yeah, and it caught on fire, and apparently some, priceless, dating back century stuff was destroyed, and we can't restore it, and that's sad.
But fortunately, a lot of the artifacts were saved, because the aforementioned renovations, they'd already been moved out.
Yeah, I didn't know the crown of thorns was there. The exact crown of thorns that Jesus wore.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got that out of there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the rose window was also saved.
Yes. Yay. All 3 of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was there last year. I went to Paris when I went to Gamescom last year. First time, yay, Gamescom. I didn't even know those things were there, but I'm pretty sure they weren't on display for us to see. They're probably in the head priest secret sanctum or something.
That's the title.
Well,
that's the actual title.
Right? Actually, that's a good segue, because while Ubisoft has not said that France has asked them to contribute, fans have theorized that they could rebuild it off the highly detailed rendering of it in Assassin's Creed Unity.
And if you listen to the show, I personally don't like Assassin's Creed. I think it's kind of stupid. I think 1 or 2 was really good. Not like 1 or 2. I mean like one or 2 of the games, specifically Brotherhood, was really good. And the rest are just kind of like a broken mess.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, to steal jokes I've already seen online, it's like people are already joking like, they say we should build a new vault and a crypt underneath the papal, is this supposed to be here? Like under a pool, like a swimming pool, and then a vault, and then it's all these secret chambers. That's what's on the rendering. Yeah. Just build.
What about you, Marcus?
Yeah,
I know you play Assassin's Creed a lot.
I do. I am an Assassin's Creed fan. I've played more or less all of them. I've only maybe skipped 2 of them. I have played Unity, which at the time was one of my least favorite entries. But I did love, like I do in most Assassin's Creed games, like just going around and seeing all the stuff they recreated. And I specifically remember visiting Notre Dame in that game, because I unfortunately have never been able to see it in real life, which now, given the circumstances, I'm just like, damn it. But yeah, in the game, it's, gorgeous and have fun climbing around. I actually was tempted just to reinstall Unity just to go back to it.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's super cool. I saw that story that they might use the plans from that game to rebuild it, which it's, on one hand, that's super cool. On another, it's is that really the only 3D render of that?
The best rendering
that exists? No one's ever mapped it out. And maybe they have and I don't know of, but if so, then
possibly.
Great.
Right, but I saw another article that was talking about how this would be a good lesson to learn overall for all historical sites and landmarks and monuments, because they're not highly mapped out like that.
Yeah,
they're really not.
What I thought was interesting that they're using video games to do this, because I remember we went to New York after playing Spider-Man, the newest one for PS4. I was looking like, oh, this block looks just like in the game, and like, oh, this area, not some areas I was like, oh, this is like a 1-for-1 scale of this area, or and then others like, oh, this is approximately that area. And I was just like, think of a game like Grand Theft Auto where it did, L.A. I've been to L.A. so many times that when I play that game, I'm just like, this is pretty accurate.
Mm-hmm. Okay, where do I go for the mob boss now? Are you gonna go down Sunset Boulevard and?
Okay, like
that's it.
It's like, is there still a smell of pee in the streets? Like that's the only thing missing is smell of it.
Yeah, we haven't got smell-o-vision in video games yet.
4D rendering.
Next gen.
That's gonna come in the next update.
Gotcha.
Speaking of updates.
Oh, very subtle there, Jerry. Very subtle.
Thank you. So we finally got the new Smash 3.0 update. I'm excited by it, as I think I've confessed several times. I've been obsessively playing. How about y'all?
I picked it back up when Joker came out and played a couple matches as Joker. I have not played Persona 5. I own it. I just haven't gotten to it. So kind of the references and detail are kind of lost on me, but it looks like that game, like the stage and stuff. Just like, oh, this is fun, and he plays well, I guess. I summoned his persona, and I think for a split second, I thought it was a Pokemon, which again speaks to my limited Persona knowledge. But I was like, oh, no, that's his Persona thing, right?
Garcin, I choose you.
Exactly. I was like, what's that thing? I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's what that is.
Man, my thing is, so I haven't played it yet because I've been busy with life, adult life. But I find all the things around it fascinating. Like the stage builder mode is like extreme stage builder mode on steroids. Like make whatever your heart's desires.
Right. Nintendo's already having to remove very inappropriate. It's like, people, did you think you were really going to get away? Like, Nintendo won't even let me choose my own taunt. Like, it has to be like, good game, moving fast, hot dog. Like, I can't do, like, no. Nintendo's going to regulate the heck out of this.
How many
Completely.
stages shaped like penises have been uploaded?
I don't know if they have that exact number, but I've seen some that have definitely been taken down. I'm like, oh my god.
Okay.
Oh, people.
No, when I saw it in the trailer when they had the witch in the pot boiling and like the balls popping out from the boiling pot and like the broomstick, I was just like, oh, yep. Oh, and you can make 3D foregrounds and backgrounds and make Oh, yep, here we go.
We're just gonna
here
turn
it is.
Like, oh, what a wholesome looking stage. Just gonna turn around and nope, not wholesome at all.
Exactly. And my favorite part about that is that in handheld mode, you can literally draw the stage with great detail. That's cool, but there's going to be a whole lot of great artists out there doing, not so great things.
So are you drawing it with the touchpad, like just with your finger?
Yeah, you can. I mean, you can do it on screen, the action, just trace it, but you actually have the option to actually draw your stage on the touchpad.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Right?
Yeah.
You'd have to get a good enough stylus, though, since I guess Nintendo hasn't really published a
Switch stylus?
Yeah,
Switch
you
stylus.
need a...
Yeah, I still think it's weird it doesn't have one.
Yeah, and you can't use a regular... I forget what kind of stylus it is, like the name of it, but I know you can't just use like when I first got the Switch, I was like, what if my Wii U stylus works on this? Like, nope.
I think I use like a tablet stylus, the one with the little...
like the rubber...
Not magnet in there, but...
Well, I was gonna say, right, it conducts like heat and electricity, so it knows like a person's touching it. Like the gloves, the winter gloves that have the that texture on the tips.
Yeah.
I will say this: the most exciting thing about 3.0 is the amount of Persona content you got based off one character. So you got, songs from Persona 3 Golden, Persona 5, and whatever the other Persona game that everyone loves that I don't know.
Extra favorite content for me from Persona is the Tails and Knuckles DLC.
Yes. I forgot about that.
I completely forgot about that.
Right? Yeah, like when I fired the game and they're giving you the slideshow of like, hey, here's everything, and I saw like the little Miis and those ridiculous costumes. I was like, oh, okay.
You're like, cool.
Like, I like how Nintendo's like, every character we don't put in this game will be a Mii costume, so you can shut up and be happy.
It's like I mean, this is just like, if you're a big fan of the Sonic community, especially like OCs or furries, like this is right up your alley. It's like your Mii can be Tails and look slightly less sillier than normal Tails.
I was gonna say, of course, this completely shuts down any future predictions that they might be the next one of the 4 DLC characters.
What I love is that there not only is Waluigi never going to be in the game, there'll never be a Waluigi costume.
I'm
sorry, Marcus, it's not happening.
I want a Mii skin that I can put over the regular fighter. So I want to go reverse. Like I want to make Sonic wear a Mii skin. So it's just
that'd be hilarious. That's in the next patch, right? It's the nude color. They're wearing.
No, they're waiting
It's
for
like
the Sonic
Sonic.
the Hedgehog movie to
Yeah, like
release
it's just
it.
Sonic wearing like a human head on his head.
Oh my gosh. That feels like nightmare fuel in the waiting.
So the big question is, when are we going to get Persona 3 Golden and Persona 5 on the Switch? At this point, we just kind of have to, right? Right?
I mean, Persona 5. There was that report, like they were teasing something, I think, about Persona Switch stuff outside of this, because, this was announced months ago.
Right.
And it seems like that would have to happen, because why even put Joker in the game if you're not going to bring the game to Switch? Because otherwise, people that aren't familiar with the game, that only have a Switch, they have nothing to turn to be like, oh, what game is this? And then they can't access it, you know what I mean? So that has to be coming, I would imagine, this year at some point.
Yeah.
I just want to add, you said they did announce it, of course, months ago. I not being antsy, but when they said they announced it in April, I'm like, and I know this isn't his theme, I'm like, but they lost a great opportunity to announce Joker, to download Joker on April Fools. There's just an aesthetic to that. That would have been great.
That would have been nice.
Right? They're like in April. I'm like, April 1st? No.
I don't want to be this guy because everyone seems to be that guy or gal in today's age. But I would play Persona if it came to Switch. I just would.
Oh, completely.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not thinking everything needs to be on the Switch, but I've always wanted to play the Persona series. I haven't had the time, but long form RPGs on the Switch just makes you have the time.
Yeah. I have Valkyria Chronicles on Switch and stuff like that, or Octopath Traveler. It's just built for unfortunately I have Persona 4 on PS4, and that's the copy I have not gotten to yet. But I would be tempted to buy it again on Switch, even though I have a perfectly fine...
Because you would have the time now.
Because apparently Persona 5 is a long game, from what I've heard.
Yeah. See, I always tell people, they're like, why do you want to play your Switch in handheld mode a lot? Because I feel like a lot of the games don't benefit me from going on the train or plane. I want to play short games because I don't want to get into a game too deeply on a plane. That's just me. But I'm like, a long-winded RPG, I'm like, hell yeah, that's the perfect 5-hour can't move game. I need that.
Right?
So I'm going to guess E3, they announced Persona 5 for Switch.
You think so?
It's pretty, because E3 is really close. And so if you're going to announce it, you may as well just do it there, I guess. It'll probably be in their little E3 Direct.
Or they're gonna do that thing where they drop a random Nintendo Direct, the Persona Direct. It's like, bro, you could just release the trailer with the same effect.
Yeah, I don't think that warrants a whole Direct, because it's because they've already... Didn't they announce or already update existing Persona 5 with new stuff or something?
I'm
possibly.
I thought they did, or they're planning to, so... If that's true, I would imagine that would be what the Switch is getting. Here's the Persona 5 with the extra bells and whistles. Other than that, not much different. Maybe at most hey, Amiibo support. Joker can be Mario. Isn't that cool?
I could definitely see that happening.
Exactly.
Oh, there's an extra Persona, just Nintendo character Persona themes.
Right.
Yeah.
Or, hi. It's just random NPC. Hi, you can call me, and it's something incredibly close to Reggie or something.
All the social. There's 5 new social links based off Nintendo people.
Oh man, if I could summon Reggie as a Persona, if only he didn't leave Nintendo, that could, man.
Laser eyes.
The Reginator. You know what?
Just want spectral Reggie floating behind.
Copyright. We have to copyright everything we say on the show because too many things turn into things after we say it. We need to get paid.
Man, if you have spectral Reggie floating behind the Persona characters in the battles, stylized Persona set Reggie.
Hype train. Oh, you thought he left Nintendo. How wrong you were.
I'm pretty sure even though he doesn't work for Nintendo, I'm pretty sure they can still use his likeness.
He's saying saying Nintendo owns the likeness to Reggie.
I mean, would you be surprised?
When he looks in the mirror, he's like a vampire. He sees nothing.
He sold his soul when he was there. He's like, I probably should have thought longer ahead when I decided to sign that contract. And because they can still put me in things, and I can't do anything about it.
I'm pretty sure they can. I'm 100% sure. It may not be contractually true, but it might be a quiet understanding.
I mean, if nothing else, I'm fairly certain he's a good enough sport. He would be down for it.
If he was as savvy as businessman as I would imagine, he would be a good sport about it, but also realize the royalties that would be involved in that. So I highly doubt he's hurting for money, but if he wanted to keep the gravy train rolling in his retirement, just license himself out constantly to things. Like Nintendo's like, hey, we want to put you in this thing. He's like, sure, whatever. Just send me the check.
Again, I can't prove this, but I'm pretty sure his pension, retirement, whatever you want to call it from Nintendo, is already pretty stacked.
I'm sure he's doing just fine. But
any title with president in the name is pretty good. You're doing pretty okay.
That's true.
Plus, I don't think he's ever bought anything outside of Animal Crossing stuff. So,
I wonder if you get free Nintendo games. You should, right? Right? You should be able to walk into the store and be like, I want that, and they give it to you.
I mean, I don't know if I don't think about a store, but I mean, he wouldn't need to go to a store. He could just get it from the company.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's true.
Yeah, they would just give him the code.
Right? I mean, so we've speculated here a lot about Nintendo, but there are other companies, Sony and Microsoft, that have new things we can speculate about.
Oh, yeah. 2 new things. So for those who don't know, over the week, the PS5 was announced, and we're going to, talk about how great and amazing that's going to be and not crap like whatever.
Or at least announced in quotations. Like, not officially, but Mark Cerny talked about it rather candidly.
We all know it's the PS5.
It doesn't have a title yet. We just want to make that clear. Like, in fact, the interview, it was an interview with Wired that this came out, and throughout the interview, he kept referring it to as the next generation hardware or something like that. Like, he did not put a name on it, which is, makes sense. He wouldn't do that yet unless they were ready to announce it. But it'll.
Is it maybe just? Are we jumping the gun a little bit? And this is just like the PS Vita 2.
Oh no! Oh God, no!
No. This is like he said. This is like the next. This is the next thing, basically.
Yeah. So before we go on to like the deets, I was watching on Twitter as people were speculating the name if it wasn't going to be called PS5, and my favorite one,
Persona 5. Oh no! Okay, sorry.
No, my favorite one is called the PlayStation, but the S is a 5.
I really hope that doesn't happen.
So it's PLAY 5.
Has that naming convention?
TATIO.
Has that naming convention ever worked? Like Driver 3 with the 3 in the title?
No, the only one that ever worked, right? Left 4 Dead. And that was more just an aesthetic thing.
That's true.
But it wasn't
it's a separate word, too. Like,
one.
there's spaces there. It's not, like, embedded in the one word.
If they call it the PlayStation, but the giant S in station is a 5, I'll get that tatted on my chest. I will not.
Let me say, you heard it here. Marcus, you're a witness.
I feel like this would be stupid on their part, but if it'll probably be called the PlayStation 5 because why not? They've already kept with that forever. But like the most I can see them changing is they call it the PlayStation V. Like, they just go with a Roman numeral for a dumb reason and ignore the fact that would probably cause a bit confusion with the Vita. Though the Vita's done, basically, the SKU would still say, like, PSV.
If we learned anything from Nintendo, they do not care about their naming conventions or confusing anyone.
I know. Well, at least it's not as confusing as the other announcement, right? The XBOX1S Digital Ultra Plus. No, okay. It's Xbox One S digital, all digital. But right, because I'm saying it was the Xbox 360, Xbox One. Like, which numbering system are we going here?
The Xbox One X, which I still hate that as a naming convention. Wait, let me put this out here. I'm an Xbox naysayer in this sense, and we're not done with PlayStation. By the way, we're coming back to the X. I got some things to say.
Okay,
but we will talk about this Xbox. So I think. Especially after Stadia announced, for them to announce basically a console that's not a console is interesting.
Yeah, I'm like, so you're selling me a PC. You're selling me Steam. You're a Steam box. Like, Steam box already exists. A PlayStation already exists. This is not one-upping Google.
Are we referring strictly to the all-digital Xbox?
Yes.
I mean, it's it's literally a 1S with no disk drive. Like, that's literally all it is. Which
exactly
is fine and makes sense because digital.
Is it cheaper?
It is cheaper. Well,
okay.
So here's the thing: brand new. If you're looking at just the new price tags, it is cheaper. It's at $250, so it's $50 less than a. I think a 1S, but as a lot of people have already pointed out, if you do even a little bit of online shopping on like Amazon or Best Buy or wherever, you can buy older models of the Xbox, including like bundles of the 1S for maybe $200 or $230, which isn't great for, the price.
And it comes with games.
Yeah, and it comes with games like, I could just get a regular 1S with maybe a game for $230 on like Amazon right now. So that kind of hurts their price a bit.
My question is why? Who does this benefit? What is Xbox getting out of doing this?
I guess
they don't have to front the cost of producing CDs.
Yeah, because like the big thing is like, okay, like yes, digital consumption of digital goods has increased a lot. Like I've become a primarily digital gamer, which I never thought it would be, honestly.
I'm still holding on to my physical copies. I'm not going down that road yet.
I still have mine, but I don't buy them nearly. I don't buy new ones. I still have a lot of my old ones, but I rarely buy a physical game anymore. So I get that if you're that type of person and you don't have an Xbox yet, or you have the original OG Xbox One, you're like, well, I want an S, but I don't want an X, so I'll get this thing. That's a very specific person.
Right, like in regards, that's who this would benefit.
But at the same time, who wouldn't already have an Xbox One S by now? Like, I feel like, okay, Jerry, you don't have an Xbox, period.
This is true.
For Marcus, Jared raised his hand. I know you couldn't see him, but that's what he did.
Yeah, I mean, I recently got a One X. So I had the OG Xbox, and I skipped the S mainly because, like, when they announced the S, they also teased the X, if we remember that E3. So I was like, well, I'll just wait for that new thing. I don't really need this, like, in
between.
Yeah, like, it's a good console, but personally, I was like, like, I don't need a bump up to, upscaling 4K or whatever. I don't have a 4K TV. So I was like, I'll just wait for the super powerful one.
Right.
And it's, again, it's an interesting idea, and I guess it doesn't hurt necessarily. It just feels like, because Microsoft's heavily rumored to debut their next generation hardware at E3 this year at their briefing.
I swear, if their next generation hardware is going to be diskless completely, that's going to be a flop. I'm calling it now.
Well, here's the thing: they're rumored to debut multiple new consoles. So I would expect one of them to be. So like
the
maybe
Xbox Vita.
Yeah, like whatever new Xbox they have, they'll probably be like, here's the one with disc, and here's the one that doesn't play disc. That's maybe a little cheaper if you want to do that. I could see that, like kind of covering both bases.
They're going to make 6 different versions. They call it the Xbox 6, so it can sound better than the PS5.
Oh my god. But okay, going back to the PS5 though,
Yeah, so it's according to their specs that they're releasing, it's supposed to be the most powerful console ever, which, surprise, surprise. Yeah. Even more powerful than the X. Supposedly going to be more powerful than whatever Xbox has planned. It has all the teraflops and the giggly gops and the goopy goops. I'm sorry, people. I mean, let's be real. If I actually said the real things besides teraflops, does that mean anything to you? Does it? It just means it's more powerful. That's all it means.
Yes. It's
I'm sorry, Marcus, go ahead.
No, I was saying, like, the most exciting thing for me is that it's, like, Sony confirmed that they're going to install it with a solid-state drive. A very powerful solid-state drive.
No loading time, supposedly. Like, none at all.
Yeah.
They say.
Like, according to the interview, they had a demo of Spider-Man running on the traditional, I think, on a PS4 Pro, and compared the load times, where it was, like, roughly 15 seconds, and then he loaded up that same level on the dev kit for this new PlayStation, and I think it clocked in at 0.8 seconds.
That is pretty good.
It's very good. That's pretty much almost non-existent loading. So, like, out of everything that they announced, I was like, okay, that would be nice. Like, just imagine a console with no load times, pretty much.
I mean, if they're capable of that, that would be revolutionary. But I'm starting to see some interesting rumors, like The Last of Us 2 is not going to be a PS4 game. It's going to actually be one of the first PlayStation 5 games, which I think that may be true, but I'm thinking, if you remember, The Last of Us was the PlayStation 3 swan song, and I think The Last of Us Part 2 will be the PlayStation 4 swan song, in my personal opinion.
I think so, too. The only game that I've seen that's heavily rumored to be cross-gen is Death Stranding. In that same interview, I forget the interviewer's name, I apologize, but I think he like brought up Death Stranding by name, pretty much, like, so is that going to be on this thing? And Cerny... I think the representative room was like, oh no, that's still coming to PlayStation 4. But Cerny also, like, he said, he gave this look that's like, I mean, we're not lying, it is coming to PS4, but maybe it didn't necessarily only.
We're gonna get the PS4 version, and then the remastered, realistically undeniable, definitive PS5 version.
Yeah, and especially with Kojima coming out recently saying that development has been delayed slightly. So that just seems like just the way timing lines up. I could see that being a cross-gen game because, every console generation we have, like, that first year is always kind of a soft transition where a lot of games are coming out for the new and the old console.
Right. But that's just going to be just going to have to be something we're going to have to see here in the future.
But there's some cool stuff like the PS5 is supposed to be capable of ray tracing, which is, if you're not aware, it's kind of like the new hotness in terms of, like, basically it just allows for incredibly realistic lighting rendering. There's a lot of videos that have been going around the last few months of like ray tracing on PCs and stuff like that, like comparing like how amazing the lighting is. Like the PS5, like Cerny said, will be capable of that.
So you'll get more dynamic shadows and Shadows of the Colossus, for example.
Exactly.
Well,
especially
we can talk about all this next time because that's a whole package we can unpack, and we are out of time for this week.
Ah, no. Damn, Marcus. Why you gotta be so technical and making us look like we don't know what we're talking about?
I'm sorry. I just like to be ready.
We love you, and that's why you're here.
Can I also mention?
What's up?
Real quick.
Allegedly 8K visuals. Or at least capable of 8K.
No, of course, they are. I'm pretty sure it's going to have 8K, even though we won't all have an 8K TV, and then one day we'll all have an 8K TV, and we'll, like, blow up when it looks
8K
amazing.
eyes, and I can't tell the difference.
8K contacts.
Right. Okay, so for Full Circle, I'm Jared Fradette. You can find me at ToonVelo.
And I'm Oda Harmon Jr. You can find me at Oda Harmon Jr. and... Wait, it's Marcus' turn. Marcus, we're cueing you.
Okay, sorry. I remember my name. I'm Marcus Stewart. Again, I am at Marcus Stewart 7. That is the number 7. And follow me on YouTube and SoundCloud for my podcast at Marcus Makes Media and iTunes at Marcus Writes About Games. And you can also follow me at Screen Rant, where I write about game news and reviews there.
All right, so make sure you follow Marcus and make sure you follow the podcast at FC Podcast 23 on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for joining us another week. Thank you, Marcus, for being our first guest. And if you want to be a guest on Full Circle, reach out on social media and we'll get you on the show. But as always, have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Marcus, wave at the camera that you're not on.
I'm waving very frantically.
All right. Bye, everybody.